I grew up in a small village in southeastern Turkey, did my primary and secondary education there. Then went to Istanbul University School of Medicine. I got an MD degree there. By the time I came to the United States, DNA repair was an established discipline. Dr. Rupert, he was really the only person doing a real quantitative work on it. When I heard him talk at Johns Hopkins, I was very impressed. Something called DNA repair is just out of this world. And so when I heard it, I was hooked on it. And I just showed up in his office and said, here I am. I want to work on this enzyme that you discovered. He just being Dr. Rupert, yes, sure.
I think one of the best things about growing up in Raton was we had tremendous degree of freedom, which was something my father believed strongly in. He was a coach, but he was also the only biology teacher in town, and he was my biology teacher. And he told me I should learn about this DNA stuff. It's very interesting. And I found this ad when I was 14 where you could order the minimum possession limit of a set of radioactive isotopes. I asked my dad to order them for me. And he did. He got a call at the high school one afternoon from the train station. The guy at the depot said, Mr. Modrich, we have a box here that says radioactive. Do not stand within 15 feet of this partial unless absolutely necessary. But he got it, and he brought it home to me. And I think there were 6 or 9 different isotopes. And I germinated seedlings in them. I injected them into plants, into frogs, and exposed them to X-ray film. I did it because I thought it would be fun, and I had fun doing it. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to do my best thinking in the moments before I dozed off. But that ability sort of disappeared as I've gotten older.
I got the Nobel Prize for excision, meaning cutting out excision enzyme, excision nuclease. The excision nuclease that I worked on and we're still working on repairs all kinds of damage. Damage induced by sunlight, damage induced by cigarette smoke, damage induced by industrial pollution. It really protects us against cancer that caused by all these agents.
One of the intrinsic beauties of the DNA helix, well, there are several, is that if you can read the sequence of DNA letters on one strand, you can immediately write down from the Watson-Crick rules the sequence of the other. And that process is incredibly precise. But it only makes one mistake for about every 1 million to 10 million letters copied. But because each cell in your body has 12 billion letters, that's a lot of mistakes. In the case of my own lab, I've had about 70 PhD students and postdoctoral fellows who've worked with me. The hands-on experimental work was largely done by them. Mismatch repair, which we work on, essentially scans newly replicated DNA for mistakes, and it corrects them. My lab was one of the labs that initially showed that tumor cells that occur in Lynch syndrome patients, which is probably the most common hereditary cancer, are defective in mismatch repair. And we identified the proteins that are missing in those cancer cells. So if you knew what genes were driving, what mutation were altered in a manner to drive a particular cancer, you could potentially use that as a target for, at least in some cases, for drug therapy.
Today I'm particularly happy because I have 4 high school kids who won Aziz Sancar Science Olympiad from among thousands of students. They were sent by the Turkish government to come and see me and visit the place, and I'm with them, and they are from my hometown. I'm really happy to see all these kids, and all 4 of them have been accepted to medical schools. They start medical school in a month or so. So it's today is particularly exciting. I was at a very fortunate point that in my career when this happened, because we had just developed a new method to map damage and repair by both carcinogens and anti-cancer drugs through the whole human genome, and how we can apply this to improve cancer treatment. I'm so excited about this that I had my postdoc make a credit card version of this. I carry in my pocket along with picture of my wife, my mom, and my daughter. And so I'm really excited about it.
There are many similarities between art and science. You come up with an idea and then you attempt to create something. And both artists and scientists do that. But it can be tremendously rewarding. It's been very rewarding for me.